I'm very fortunate to be interviewing Naomi Ballantyne, who created the life insurance industry in New Zealand. That's all true, Naomi. So tell me, what difference do you think being a culturally competent leader has made to the leadership you've provided in the life insurance industry in your work?
I think actually the success of the businesses that I've been involved with over the last 33 years speaks for itself, and says that this is the way you bring people together to achieve the best results. So, you know, in my opinion, that sort of cultural diversity that we've always had in the businesses that we run is the reason that we're as successful as we are.
So it's not just business IQ and nous, because that's what most people would, looking in from the outside, thought it was. They'd just say, oh, well, she was a great business person. What's culture got to do with it?
Well, actually, no, I think people have got an awful lot to do with it, and different ideas, different ways of looking at things, different ways of interacting with people. It creates a different kind of environment. I would say a softer environment for doing business, and that's encouraging to people. And then I guess the cream, because you do still need business nous, and you do still need good ideas, and you do still need practical answers, but they don't need to come from one type of person. And I think that's what we found. We have a better outcome in terms of the decisions that we make because we have more input into those decisions.
So clearly that's one characteristic of a culturally competent leader, that you're open-minded to diverse thinking. What other characteristics do you think a culturally competent leader has?
It's really interesting because I never really think about it consciously, and I would hope that you wouldn't need to think about it consciously, that the understanding that different people bring different values to an organisation should just be the way we all are. I'm not sure if I'm answering that question correctly, but...
Yeah, I think you are. I mean, the difficulty people talk to me about is, oh, but we're trying to maintain core cultural values, and what we're worried about is that if we have too many people from different cultures, you know, it might change the culture of our company for the worse.
Oh, no, I think it would change the culture of the company, no question, but I think for the worse is completely the wrong way to look at it. I think, and in fact, a culture is never static either. It shouldn't be. It should continue to change as the organisation changes. You know, our customer base is diverse. Our advisor or distribution force is diverse. So our staff need to be diverse because we interact with all of those people. And so I expect our culture will continue to change over time, and that's a good thing.
Well, it is. So just tell me about Partners Life, because you have a really radically different staffing profile to most companies.
Yes.
I mean, you've got a high level of diversity and also at the top levels.
Yeah, we do actually, and it's across all sort of diversifications, if you want to put it that way. So we have a huge number of young people, no experience in the industry.
Wow, that's very unusual.
In fact, about 35% of our staff have never had any experience in financial services before at all. And what that does is it brings a whole bunch of questioning about why do you do it that way? And when you have to answer those questions, it forces you to think about why you do things that way and think about other ways of changing it. So that's one thing. We also have people at the other spectrum. We've got people in their 60s and their 70s still working for us. And they bring a different life skill, a different balance, a lot more patience, you know, the long game, in terms of things don't have to happen tomorrow. You need to build on your successes over time, and you get more successes that way, and it's a good balance for that younger team. We have different sexualities, we have equal mix of male females, and pretty much every ethnicity you can think of. And we don't see it as being a thing, it is just who we are. And in fact, we have Culture Day, we have one every year, and this year we're actually celebrating ethnicity culturally. So it's about each group of people who relate to a culture, presenting it to the rest of the team.
So tell me, the fact that you have a lot of diversity, including in your leadership, do you think that makes your business much more successful?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said to you at the start, I think the reason we are as successful as we are is because of the mix of people that we have. And you're right, at that senior leadership team, we, again, across that whole gamut, including sexuality, and it is the reason why we are as successful as we are. And it brings really interesting debate. It also brings a need to make sure that you're inclusive, so that people who are not loud or brash because that's not their culture, for example, still get to have their say. And that's what I mean, it creates a softer organisation, because to truly get the best out of people, you need to allow them to have their voice. It creates a different way of behaving. I like that. I feel much more comfortable in
Is that your
environment.
Pacifica background?
I think it might be. I think it might be. And also that maternal thing. That everybody who works for me gets mothered to some extent. You know, I don't know if it's right or wrong. What I know is it works for us.
So talk to me about the path that New Zealand needs to walk, because in many ways we're at the start of our cultural capability journey.
Yeah, I have a view that New Zealand's quite a long way down the path compared to, for example, our neighbours like Australia, where I think that there's a lot of different cultures, but they're all completely succinct and separate. I think we're much further down the path because we had to be, and we tend to treat people more as individuals than as groups of people, which I think is a good thing, but we do still need to take that step in business, which allows people to see and understand that they're recruiting individuals for the values that they bring, and that you want a range of different types of individuals to give you that best diversity in terms of thinking. And when you do that, you end up with cultural diversity, you end up with gender diversity, age diversity, and that's the way you get the best result.
Do you think we're ever going to see a time, Naomi, where we actually get training for cultural competence along with, you know, IT savvy and digital disruption and managing financial risk? I mean, it just would be part of the armoury of a top business person.
I think that's a good idea. I think teaching leaders how to create a diverse team is a good thing. I really don't like the idea of quotas, or you should go out and recruit one of each of these type of people, because that's not the right answer. But I think actually the more businesses, and this kind of exposing diverse businesses to the world and saying this is the kind of success you get, and this is what a team can look like, I think that's the sort of example that gives other people almost permission to not do what has been done before, and to create a different type of team for their organisation. And so I think it's a generational thing. The more businesses see successful businesses like ours, the more they will hopefully replicate that within their own department, their own, you know, part of the organisation, and then within their own organisation going forward.
So Naomi, what do you think is next for Partners Life? Because of course you're right throughout New Zealand, but the Auckland market is continuing to evolve, and as you know, all the projections are, you know, more Asians, more Pacifica, more Maori, minorities becoming a majority, and then diffusing throughout New Zealand. So what does that mean for your company?
It means having to think about the actual needs of people, not as New Zealanders were 25 years ago, in terms of the types of products that make sense, and the way people pay for those products, and the affordability issues, and what a family looks like. All of those things, they feed into what types of products we develop. So for us, it's about understanding our market and developing products that they need, and that they will want to buy, and finding ways to get those products to them, because the traditional way of distributing products doesn't necessarily work in all those markets. So wider research internationally around what works in different markets for different cultures. Also talking to people about what are you most scared of for your family. You know, where do you think you need the money? What kind of health issues actually are you most concerned about? And then designing product bespoke for our customers who are changing.
That's interesting. Final question. You are a Pacifica woman.
Yes.
And as you know, the stats are not good, double disadvantage. So in terms of pay equity, it's white men, white women, coloured men, coloured women. Do you think about these issues at all? Do you think it has an impact?
I think I've never really thought about them in terms of me, but I definitely think they do have an impact. And in our organisation, people are just paid what people are worth, and in terms of the value that they bring as an individual, not whether they fall into a category or a woman less than the men, it's definitely not what happens in our organisation. So in a way, I guess I'm thinking about it, but I don't think I've ever gone into battle for myself. I regret that, because not because I worry about where I am today financially, but because it's the message that's sent to all those people previously who did manage me, make those decisions about me, in terms of what they go on to do now and next, and and continue that behaviour, when maybe if I had taken more of a stand. But I guess that again is that Pacific Island thing, that you either value me or I go somewhere else, but I don't argue with you about it. And so there are some things culturally we need to learn.
Yes.
It might be your background, but they don't necessarily help you if you're in business, and it's really helping people to understand that it's okay to speak up. You should speak up, but also for businesses to understand that you need to give people the environment where they can speak up and get their voice heard, because it's important for you.
Thank you very much.